So I grew up reading philosophy, partly because I was a Sagittarius. Thanks, nice for being here. I am in the desert. I just had a huge tab, and I was like, time to talk about philosophy. And yeah, it's been a good morning. It was windy last night. Yeah, Mojave Desert is windy AF. It's easy to find spots, and finding cool people can be easy. There's a vein of angry, methed out redneck out here, which can be scary because they're shouting and shooting the moment they see you. They don't care who you are, you know. uh, yeah, the pizza place beneath the freeway is filled with fucking meth heads. Anyway, what did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, finding out the Bible's not true. So this has been a pretty heavy blow, but for Earth, it's the situation accurately is the Bible is a hoax. The situation is not the Bible will turn out true, and the thing that the thing that's affecting them are the age of the Earth and tectonic plates, the round Earth, stars move over time. There's not a firmament. That's space. You know what I mean? Like they made a bunch of guesses about the physical nature of reality. They didn't just make guesses. They firm-footed put their fists down and said, "We have the truth of the universe, and in fact it'll just cost your foreskin and you will have it, sir." You know, and they it seems to me to be a conundrum that honest prayer works. So I've been kind of dealing with this thing. Could it be a possibility that God exists and the Bible's made up? Because it doesn't look like a great flood happened. It looks like they found seashells at high altitude. Like I was just in Flagstaff a few months ago. They have seashells up there, right? There's a thing on here earlier on a TikTok saying that the top of Mount Everest is made out of seabed. So the Earth is doing a big slosh over time. The rock is moving like a sea. There's crests and there's troughs and all that. You know, it's got a liquid-like movement to it. Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does. And we're just not seeing what we call a great flood, right? Is all those seashells got at high altitude because they're fossils, and there was I'm not a geologist or a paleontologist, but yeah, there was, hundreds of millions of years ago, hundreds of millions. If we watch one spot of rock for 5 years, you might see a boulder tumble down that whole time. But if you see a spot of rock over 50 million years, it's going to look like a whole new rock, and that's just accumulation, you know what I mean? But we know that now. And so for the Bible to be out there going, I'm the truth, the truth, the truth, I got it all, the wisdom right here. Well, since the physical histories don't match up, they just don't match up. The physical histories given in the Bible don't match up with truth. They just don't. And so that means it's a hoax. It does. It does. Like, a true religion would give predictions that turned out to be true. They'd look for the thing and find it. But everything they ever found is like fuzzy, sort of that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not accurate enough. It's just not accurate enough. And so, like, the idea of Moses breaking all the Jews out of Egypt, it gave the number for I think the Jewish men at like over 600,000, and so it says men and women and children. And the counting of the men gave the appropriate ratios, and they guessed around 2 million people. Well, there's no evidence they left. Now, it could be maybe they were in a cloud of God's protection, like not even their footsteps were normal, they were just on an ascended plane. I've seen stuff like that happen. It's not totally outside of the realm of possibility for me. I do believe that that there is a miracle power, or a thought is it sort of thing, but Yola, I mean, like, the microscopic evidence just opened up a whole bunch of new stories, and we went, well, which one of you religions was saying that? Well, really none of them. They just weren't saying it, so it wasn't relevant enough for it to be truth. That means its morality is off. I've been saying it like it is for years. I knew this as a kid. If I can make you think about the words I say, I can control your mind. If I give you a sentence that's so powerful and so important that you have to drop your thoughts for it, there's the beginning of mind control. And so the whole thing is to wrestle up that situation. There's a lot of shouting and a lot of proclamation and a lot of religious grandstanding. Foretell thee there, for the, and it's mind mush. It's designed to dazzle you away from your things. And that's all it is. It's just designed to dazzle you away from your things. And it's caught. It's caught. We know it. It's like we aren't trusting it anymore, and so we've had a parasite at play. And so what are we going to discuss? What is the truth? Is it the fight to the top of Monkey Island? Do we go for full competition? I think competition has been given to us by our Swedish masters. Yeah. So Switzerland wanted all the gold. Yeah. The European banking elite, the blondies, the goldies, they wanted all the American gold. And so everything America did, capitalism, oh, foreign investors, come right ahead. You know, and basically the economy was done, the dollars printed at debt, and you owe them some of it every time you use it. Well, they made it with more sinks than faucets, so you'll never have money, so you always have to do labor. It's designed to force labor because they didn't want us sitting around. They wanted to accumulate all the gold. Well, if you have a banking system that leaves you depleted every time you use it, then what you're going to have is a situation where they will have plenty of willing hands looking and panning for gold to get the smallest dollary due compensation. Meanwhile, all of America's resources get harvested back up, and none of your politicians have put two and two enough together to figure out that's what's been happening. But yeah, I don't serve America because America doesn't exist. America doesn't serve me. America is the idea that you ought to toe a written line. That's what America is. America pretends to give you rights when really it's just putting you in a fucking word vault. It wants you to live according to the word circus, which is going to lead to you having to labor for the state to acquire resources for it. Plain and simple. Serve your Lord, right? Every morality in the Bible is a hoax. It's a hoax. It doesn't come from God. You may say that, oh, wormwood, the angel wormwood in the Bible and all that. Yeah, manifestation, that's just basically mental manifestation. That's pretty simple. It's pretty simple to explain. But yeah, you know. And maybe it is smart to the spirit of this thing to say you're all sinners first. Don't even try to make anyone good. You met them, they're a sinner and sinner until you save them. But, mind-blowing news, right? Bible's a hoax. 2,000 years of thought and activity have just been canceled. There's so much work that went into making that stuff true. And it's no realer than Spider-Man. It just isn't. It just isn't. There's no way. There's no way. Christians will invent evidence to prove it exists before they will admit there is none. And it doesn't even sound true anyway. It sounds made up. It sounds like Sussy Baka stuff, but we're coming out of an age where it's been 2,000 years of that being the truth. Throw yourself to your death, that's the truth. Well, if we know anything about people, they're crazy. They'll throw themselves to their deaths for something they don't even know is real. They're just guessing. It's just a story. I don't think any biblical prophet ever saw the hand of God show him what to write. I think it's been all, And I'm not saying prayers don't get answered. Like, I still have that weird run of Hotel Room 111 and then the time 11:11 on the clock. Like, there's definitely a spiritual power. There has to be. But, did that thing tell us to write the Bible? If it did, it doesn't look like the book's true. The early history doesn't match the history of the world. So is the message you thought I would tell a man to write about me? It's a confusing time. It's a confusing time. Is there a presence in nature that doesn't have a body but sees and knows I exist, right? It seems that might be the case. If so, how many of those beings are there? Is every spirit good? The Bible says no. You got the devil's a spirit too. He has spiritual power. He can will things. And so it's kind of a catastrophe, because if you're looking for the devil, then that's the ultimate divide and conquer, right? To put you at odds with your own insides, make you question who you are, even on a deep way. I mean, this is some pretty hardcore philosophy. I guess it's outside of philosophy. It is like, it's not even phenology. It's like, what is real? And in the beginning is the word. Is that made up? I think so. I think it was made up for occult mind control. And, we've had 2,000 years where in the beginning is the word is the wisest thing anyone's been allowed to say. And we're just finding out it's a complete fucking hockey-hoey hoax. It's a fucking hoax. There's no great flood. That never happened. The earth is round. There's a different history that evidence and modern, because we have we have explorers everywhere. There's people of rigor and precision all throughout this society. We're dropping the untrue, and to me it looks like, our prayers being answered, and if so, how? Who is doing that? And why didn't that thing write the book better? What about the book should I just blindly drop questioning it and go like, yes, there was definitely a flood and Moses was real, right? Garden of Eden, right? Well, we know what the flaming sword is. I wondered about that since I was a kid, but I know more now being an adult. That's a vagina. Yeah, the flaming sword at the entrance to the garden. It's God moved upon the waters, right? In the beginning was the word. Your parents spoke over you in your womb. Every human, there's not a human alive today whose parents didn't speak over their womb, not without some extraordinary circumstance like them both being deaf or whatever. You know what I mean? They've all gotten it. So, nobody who would have invented the Bible would have been without that experience. So they're just speaking from what they remember, which is just making it up. It's not close enough to the truth. It's just not. It's not close enough to the physical truth that it's so much so it doesn't matter. And you're physically changing baby dicks about it every day. So you want to wake up to something, wake up to the reality. The Bible's not real and everyone's still acting like it is. Waking up, number one. You want to wake up, the Bible's not real and everyone's still acting like it is. Womp womp. Big ouchie. Big uh-oh. That's a life-changing discovery.